One, and it's time for us to get into the world of business. This is a Business Express on the Smooth Breakfast. This is Ayakun Kekere-Ekun here, and joining me this morning is Rotus. Very good morning, Rotus. How are you doing today?
Doing fine. Good morning to you. Good morning to all our listeners, and happy second day of Salah.
Yep, happy second day. Hope you've had a good one thus far.
Yeah, well, we're working, but yeah, the roads are free. So
That's a plus. I'll take that any day.
indeed.
All right, you can be a part of Business Express this morning by sending your messages into us via WhatsApp on 0809 444 981. We're also streaming live on YouTube at Smooth 981 FM Lagos. All right, Rose, let's get into it. And today we're talking about the money market and fixed income review. Now, I'm going to begin on a very interesting note here because before we get to the money markets and the interest rates, of course, yesterday you shared a couple of videos on your WhatsApp status yesterday, videos that I actually saw, and I had a really good laugh because I was following your experience as you were filling your tank, and I was also watching the meters was going up and up and up, and it kept on going. And
Yeah.
what exactly happened? What exactly was going through your mind at that point in time?
Yeah, no, I've parked my car. I'm not I'm not I'm not going anywhere unless it is unless it's an absolute emergency. Because the price at the pump went up. It was 490 right after the announcement of removal of subsidies. Now it's gone up to 500 naira a liter. And that's here. Prices are different in different parts of the states, but man, yeah. So you can do the math. It's my car is 100 liters. I mean, that's just including the reserve tank. So my goodness, and I was completely empty. The last time I bought, I still had a little bit of fuel, so I didn't really the full impact. I didn't really feel the full impact, but if you multiply 100 liters times 50 a liter, I mean this is price augments behavior. That's one of the things you learn in that's not even basic economics. That's just basic life. Price augments your behavior. So I just told myself that, look, unless it is an absolute emergency. Someone invited me to go to a wedding over the weekend on Saturday, and I declined it. I'm like, I'm not. It's on the mainland, and I'm like, no, man, I'm not going. So this is, yeah, it's this thing. I felt the pain. I really felt the pinch yesterday looking at that. It was eye-opening experience.
I can just imagine. Now, all right. Now, is it actually possible that these high fuel costs could, put a dent in economic activities?
Yeah, because I mean, I was someone who I was talking to that usually drives. I can't remember what part of Surulere it comes from, but coming to the island takes him with traffic about an hour and a half, sometimes maybe 2 hours. And this was on today is Thursday, right? This was on Tuesday before the holiday, either Monday or Tuesday. It said it took about 25 minutes to 30 minutes. Because there are basically less cars on the road.
Yeah.
Less people driving, and basically, essentially, we're seeing reduced economic activity because of high fuel costs. So I think, yeah, we're seeing that happen.
Now, talking about costs, now I actually understand that there's been lower patronage of Rams this Salah holiday compared to previous ones. Why is that?
It's the price, man. I mean, Rams today are going for what smaller size cows used to go for years ago. I'm seeing prices. I'm hearing prices of for at least the bigger Rams from 150 to 200, 250. And you couple that with the higher fuel prices, and some folks are just skipping Salah altogether, just praying at home and just celebrating. But as far as the what we use, I remember, at Aja, there's a market where they sell rams. I remember Aja always, years ago used to be really packed. I mean, you would see rams everywhere and people pricing them and buying them. And it's been much lower. Also, markets in Abuja, from what I'm hearing from people there, it's just more expensive. It's just more expensive and you have to think about feeding those rams, because there's lots of costs for agriculture.
And they eat quite a bit.
A lot. They eat a lot. So, we're living right now going through a real cost of living adjustment right now. It's impacting everything. It's impacting behavior, spending, and so on and so forth.
A lot of people had to make some serious adjustments to their day-to-day lives, bearing that in mind. All right, let's get to the money markets. How has the Naira traded since last week, Friday?
Well, it looks like I don't know. I don't want to prematurely say the Naira is finding its level at the INE window, but it's been trading around this 770 to 60 something level. So last Friday closed at 770 on the INE window. That's the investors and exporters window. Monday it closed at 768. Tuesday it closed at 763. Of course, yesterday was the holiday. The markets are closed. The FX market closed again today. So we'll see how it resumes. But I mean, trades have gone as high as 814, and then come back down to the 7th levels. Well, we're looking at about 760, 770. That's where it seems to have been trading.
Now, looking at that, should I say, trajectory, what exactly can one glean from that, or is it just a temporary thing? Can anything actually be gleaned from that movement?
Well, the thing is, what we're going through is still price discovery. Ever since I think it was June 14th that the market was allowed to, so just about 2 weeks ago, so that the market was allowed to trade freely. So this is price discovery. As more people come into the market and continue to, trade and seek what the real value is of the Naira, I think we'll continue to see this price movement. So what you can glean from it is this is price discovery that's happening in real time. So I don't, depending on supply, I guess you can get an indication of supply from the turnover and volumes in the markets. It'll give us an indication as to where things might be settling. But again, it's only been 2 weeks, so maybe it might still be too early to say this is the definitive value of the Naira at this time. I think we're still going to need more time, and the other things have to happen.
Okay, now talking about the turnover of the FX traded in investors and exporters windows since Friday, what would you have to say about it?
That's been creeping up as well. So on Friday last week, the amount turnover was about $125 million. That's if you take everything that was traded in the market. Monday, it climbed to 198 million. And then on Tuesday, it climbed again to 245 million. So that's a good sign. Of course, in the heydays, I mean, there were years where we're trading 700, 800 million, maybe even close to $1 billion on some days, but that was like years back. So the takeaway from that is that the volumes are inching up, and if volumes are inching up, then that means that we're getting more people interested in trading trading foreign exchange there, and it's we need it to get much higher, but it's slightly encouraging.
All right, now what about Treasury bills? What kind of rates did we get at the last auction?
Yeah, so Treasury bills, money market instruments, they mature in a year or less. You have 91-day bills, 182, 364. The 91-day bill, the primary market auction that we saw closed at 4.8%. 182 closed at 5.1. The 364-day bill closed at 8.24. So yeah, single-digit rates is what we saw there.
All right, now so with where inflation is right now at about 22%, what does this mean for T-bill rates?
makes them unattractive. If you have inflation of 22% and your 364-day bill is doing 8%, doesn't give you much of an incentive to want to get T-bills, because if you subtract, you get a negative real rate of return. So not very attractive right now.
Not very attractive right now. Now, let me take a couple of messages from WhatsApp really quickly here. Benga Akomo says the people are bearing the brunt of government policies, but are government officials also making sacrifices or toning down on spending? Cisco Delgado says, good morning, Rotus. The adjustments, no be small thing. I used to buy 2 kilos of chicken every weekend for my family, but now I have resorted to 1 kilo. Everybody tightening those belts really, really hard.
Yep. They are. Hang in there, everybody. Hang in there.
Chico says, good morning, sir. Are you not planning converting your car fuel tank to gas cylinder? I heard the cost is 300,000.
Wow. Well, that's a heavy cost. And it's a heavy upfront cost, but over the long term, that actually might make sense and be cheaper over the long term. I haven't considered it because 300,000 is a lot of money. But I'll if you do the math, I guess over time it's cheaper than having to buy fuel. So yeah, I'll look into it. Thanks for that advice. I'll definitely look into it. If you can loan me the 300K, I'll appreciate that as well.
That wouldn't be bad at all. All right, so now let's look at where we are right now. So if we take the FX rates, the T-bill rates, then inflation, and then we add President Tinubu's desire for low interest rates. So what kind of picture are we going to get?
Yeah, he can't really get those low interest rates because he wants more FX to flow into the country, and he wants a stronger currency. And in order to get that, you have to raise interest rates because that's what's going to attract investments, at least to come into the country, at least as far as the currency is concerned and the money markets. So he's gonna have to live with higher rates for now, or rather rates to go up. And also with inflation where it is, you're not gonna get those low rates. Rates have to come up, and we have to see the Monetary Policy Committee. We're at 18.5 now. That might have to still go up as well.
Right now, ultimately, what needs to happen for borrowing rates to come down in Nigeria?
Inflation has to come down. Cost of doing business has to come down. If you think about a bank that has a physical branch running diesel, banks now, they are still till today closing an hour early since those changes were made when diesel spiked as a result of the Russia invasion of Ukraine. So if you think about the running costs for those businesses, there's going to have to be a fundamental change in the cost of doing business. Inflation has to come down, which means he has to address the legacy shocks that have kept inflation up: insecurity, food producing areas, no power, bad roads, all these things that contribute to cost of goods rising. He's got to address all that before rates can come down. And when rates start to come down, maybe he gets the lower interest rates that he desires.
So many things need to happen, kind of like a domino effect. One thing needs to affect another, and so on and so on. Hey, well, let's hope the government just pushes on and gets all those things in order and in place. All right, thank you so much, Rotus, for joining me on Business Express this morning. Do have yourself a great Thursday and great rest of the week, if I can put it that way.
I'll be walking. Thank you, Ivan. Thanks to all our listeners out there.
Wear comfortable shoes.
Thank you.
All right, and we've come to the end of Business Express, but stick around, still so much more to come on the Smooth Breakfast on Smooth 98.1. We see the bigger picture.